everyone, my name is John Michael Bushman, and welcome back to a Magic the Gathering Pauper set review video. That went on a little longer than I expected, but we're gonna look over the 106 cards that will be coming out of the Phyrexia. All will be one. Everybody's dying and or dead. This is basic. Look, guys, it is extremely obvious now that the entire Phyrexia arc was made, or rather, the concept planning for the entire Phyrexia arc was heavily inspired by the hype that is the Avengers storyline, coming to a crescendo. Remember that WotC works 2 years ahead of the curve, so it's extremely obvious where they got this idea from. But yeah, overall thoughts. I was keeping up with the spoilers this time around because it was a rather light month, and it was just after the New Year's, and nothing much was happening around the shop. But, the consensus for Pauper with Phyrexia All Will Be One is that there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of new tools for the Infect deck. Most of them in green and blue, which are the colors for the Infect deck. And we're gonna see now if, makes that kind of change. Good God. Crawling Chorus is like the creepiest art I've ever seen on a card in a long ass while. And this is like my new sleep paralysis demon, okay? This is my brand new sleep paralysis demon, no questions asked. But we're gonna get on to the set review. We have 106 cards to go through, so let's get right into it. First off, we have Basilica Shepherd, a 5-mana 3/3 that makes 2 1/1s on entry. I was comparing this initially to Soul of Migration, which is a 7-mana version of this effect. I thought at first that this would replace Soul of Migration completely, but then I realized that Basilica Shepherd dies to Lightning Bolt, where Soul of Migration doesn't. And you have ways to get Soul of Migration into and out of play, namely late to dinner style effects, or heck, even Breath of Life, or you can even ephemerate it. And Soul of Migration is usually used in that aspect. And then, the flyers don't really matter. You just poke in for 1 damage every time, and then once it's like down to the wire, then and only then will your opponent start blocking. Granted, having Toxic 1 is nice, but when Basilica Shepherd dies to Lightning Bolt, it doesn't really you cannot really get as much value out of that compared to Soul of Migration. Soul of Migration demands far more premium removal than Basilica Shepherd. Next, we have Charge of the Mites. It's an instant. It's basically one of those white combat tricks that white always gets in the limited environment. It's nice for limited, but for Pauper, probably will not see any play. Same is true for complete devotion. It's just a buff and makes you draw a card if the creature has toxic. This is definitely more for limited. This is to support the toxic. I'm gonna say the word toxic a lot, and it's going to mean something entirely different in another context, but for the purposes of this video, when I say toxic, I mean the mechanic toxic, where it's basically fixed infect. The toxic value is the amount of poison counters the player who gets oh god, I lost my train of thought. Toxic is the toxic value is the amount of poison counters the player gets. Not, instead of dealing damage, you get poison counters instead. But this is bad even by Pauper, even by limited standards. I mean, it's curve filler, it's card draw, it replaces itself, but no, you need to have a creature with toxic to do that. Crawling Chorus, I already mentioned. We're not gonna keep looking at that thing. No, that's my sleep paralysis demon right there. Jump scare, Crawling Chorus, boom. Duelist of Deep Faith, 2 mana 2/2. It's a hit. It's a grizzly bear, and it has first strike. That's actually goddamn decent. Holy shit! Wait, hold on, hold the fuck on, hold on. It's a 2 mana 2/2 that has first strike on your turn, and it's killing a mirror very mercilessly. No, it's actually bad. No. Next, Flensing Raptor, 3 mana 2/2, flying toxic one. When it enters the battlefield, okay, more support for the toxic archetype. No. Honestly, no. Like, Infect decks can work way better than this. Gold Warden's Helm, I have not seen this one. Ah, yes, the 4 Mirrodin mechanic. This basically allows... This is usually stapled onto equipment where you basically get a 2/2 creature on entry, so don't treat this as a 3-mana artifact, treat this as a 3-mana 2/2. I'm gonna say the same for all of the other 4 Mirror equipment here that has the 4 Mirrodin keyword on it. This is... it basically makes a 3-mana 2/3. It's a good blocker, but no, there are way better equipment in Pauper. And if there even is that, it usually revolves around auras instead. You know, boggles don't really need this effect. Incisor Glider, corrupted. I mean it's an anthem, but you need to have 3 or more poison counters, and it's in white. So I'm not sure how far Infect decks are gonna splash since they are base blue-green in order to have a board-wide anthem. But usually you're only really pumping up 1 creature anyway, so yeah, no, pass on this one. Indoctrination Attendant, a 3-mana 3/4. When it enters the battlefield, return another. It's a bounce. Holy shit. Wait, yeah, it's a permanent you control. Great. It makes a 1/1 that has Toxic 1. No! Just no. Leonin Lightbringer, 3-mana 3/2 with Ward 2. Hey, I mean, you could build this is a damn good build around. And then if you equip anything with it, I mean, granted it dies to like any kind of red removal, but hey, Ward 2, your opponent has to pay slightly extra to get around its defenses. But you know, this is something to watch out for. I'm keeping an eye on this cat rebel here. Mandible Justiciar, 2-mana 2/1 with lifelink. When another artifact enters the battlefield, so it's potentially a 2-mana 3/2 with small upside, but it has lifelink. There are way better creatures. Miran Bardiche. So that's what a Bardiche is. Then again, Rusty Bardiche in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is already holding a Bardiche, so that's already there. So this is a 5-mana 2/2. No, it's a 5-mana 4/3 with Vigilance. No. Orthodoxy Enforcer, a 4-mana 2/4. Gets +2/+0 as long as you control 2 or more artifacts. No. There are better ways to spend 4 mana in Pauper. Planar Disruption, another it's basically a pacifism effect, although it does target planeswalkers, and it also targets artifacts, which is very, very rare, since what usually gets targeted are creatures. And then, you know, Kaito and Water are getting separated again. I'm reminded of the When We Were Young card. I shipped these two so hard! We have the girl who was forced to be in her position, but then gains a power she has no control over. We have Kaito, who was the good boy turned edgy bad boy, like, you know, and then shipped these two so hard. Anyway, Sinew Dancer, 1-mana 1/1. It's a mana sink in the mid to late game, but you know, if you want a discount on the tap ability, you need to have poison counters. So no. Vanish into Eternity is a card that a lot of people are surprisingly excited for. Because it exiles any non-land permanent at instant speed. However, it becomes a 6-mana exile target non-land permanent at instant speed if and only if it targets a creature. Elspeth is dying. People are dying. This is truly an event. Phyrexians are truly an Avengers level threat. Or in this case, it's a Gatewatch level threat. But, you know, it's cheap. It exiles anything as long as you don't target a creature. And 3 mana to exile literally anything but a creature is surprisingly good. Although, granted, it has to be non-land, so the artifact lands are still safe. But otherwise, this is a spell that will definitely see Pauper play, especially in decks that can ramp really, really well. You know, especially the Green X decks. Yeah, I definitely keep an eye out for this one. I would buy a playset if I could. Next, we have Zealot's Conviction, a 1-mana aura. Okay, so it's potentially a 1 mana 2/1 and gets first strike, but your opponent has to have 3 or more poison counters, so the corrupted mechanic rears its ugly head yet again. But no. There are better ways to spend 1 mana. Although it is a flash. It's flash speed. This could see playing Boggles now that I think about it, but they have Rancor over there and they have ethereal armor and all that. No, all that glitters is not Pauper legal. God, can you imagine if all that glitters is suddenly Pauper legal? No, we would have 8 copies of ethereal armor. We do not want any more of that. But keep an eye out for this one since it's 1 mana +1/+1 at flash speed. Aspirant's Ascent until end of turn. This just makes your low toughness creatures better blockers, but no, just no. Bring the Ending. It's a counter spell for the Infect deck. This is the one that got the entire Infect side of Pauper humming. It's basically a hard counter if your opponent has 3 or more poison counters, and that's really easy to do if you're an Infect deck. Otherwise, look at this bull! Anyway, Chrome Prowler, a 3 mana 3/2 with flash, and it taps a creature down. Wait! No! This is the... Oh my god, isn't this just the Dominaria cat, Phyrexianized? Oh no! The cat did not survive! It got Phyrexianized! Oh, no! Why Phyrexia? They have a term for it. It's called completion. The cat got completed. Oh fuck no! Next we have Escaped Experiment. I've seen worse combat tricks. Oh wait, this isn't even a combat trick. It's a creature. What the fuck? I've been misreading this entirely. But no, there are better ways to spend 2 mana. Next we have Experimental Augury. This is just this is either Impulse or what's that other spell? Oh god, this is just an instant speed version of that spell. It's basically, look at top 3, draw 2 mana, draw 1, but you put 2 at the bottom. It's good. This would definitely have it. It's just Proliferate is just a cherry on top, but otherwise, an effect that's welcome but not exactly necessary. Eye of Malcator, a 3 mana artifact, ETV Scry 2. You can bring this in and out of the graveyard, with what Pauper tends to do. Grixis Affinity getting more and more toys! Yet again, it becomes a 4/4. Oh my fucking god. This becomes a 4/4 even. God damn it. And it scries to... Grixis Affinity needs to fucking die. Oh my god. I used to be so mad at Delver being at the top of the metagame, but it has been wholly replaced by Affinity. But now that Affinity is like all over the place, I'm sick of Affinity now. But yeah, definitely we'll see Pauper play because it fixes your draws and it even becomes a 4/4 if you slam your Affinity creatures way above the curve. Holy fucking god. Oh my god. Next we have Gitaxian Anatomy. Now that I think about it, Deadly Dispute is instant speed, so you can animate this even during your opponent's turn as well because it creates a fucking treasure. Oh my fucking god. Kill this, please, kill this. Gitaxian Anatomist, a 4 mana 2/5. Enters the battlefield, you may tap it if you do Proliferate. It's just a big booty creature. No. Gitaxian Raptor, a 3 mana 1/4. It's a good blocker. And it can pump itself up by removing oil counters. So this is going into the decks that use oil counters in the limited deck. Otherwise, just skip it over. Glistener Seer enters the battlefield with 3 oil counters. Remove an oil counter, scry 1. There are better ways to do about it. If it was an artifact creature, I would have been more excited, but it's not an artifact creature. So, no. Next, we have Ichor Synthesizer. 2 mana 1/3. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets an oil counter. If it has 4 more oil counters, it gets +2/+0 and can't be blocked. You have to work a little extra hard to make it a 2 mana 3/3 that cannot be blocked. So, no. Malcator's Watcher, a 2 mana 1/1. When it dies, draw a card. It flies, has vigilance. I mean, that's actually a lot better than I give credit for, huh? Keep an eye out for this one. A 2 mana 1/1 that flies and has vigilance. So you can get in for early damage, and then when it dies, it replaces itself. Holy shit. Keep an eye out for this one. This could be, This is a for me. Meldweb Curator, 4 mana 3/4. When it enters the battlefield, put an instant or a sorcery from your graveyard on top of your library. Fucking hell, oh my god. I mean, it's 4 mana, so it's a little too costly to go into Spellslinger style decks. In Commander, this could be a consideration, but not in the top 10. Probably top 20, even. Meldweb Strider, a 5 mana 5/5. Remove an oil counter, so it can basically go, if you can't crew it, it can crew itself at the very least. Better ways to go about it, but otherwise, no. Mesmerizing Dose, enchant creature, it taps it, then proliferate. Okay, it's another one of those sleep style effects that you see a lot in limited. Otherwise, no. Prologue to Phyrexia. This is another one of those decks. Along with look at this bowl. Prologue to Phyrexia is another one of those decks that will slide right in to blue-green infect. As if they weren't problematic enough that they get a counterspell, they even get a 2 mana draw one. Just straight up 2 mana draw one, and you even have something that proliferates. Infect is swimming in gravy right now. Really, really good gravy at that. I am so gonna try out an infect deck now. Holy fucking shit. Next, we have Quicksilver Fisher, 5 mana 4/3. No. I'm not even gonna read the rest. Like, it loots, but no. 5 mana 4/3 is like, this is curve filler in a limited deck, but in Pauper, you can do so much more with 5 mana. Next, we have Vivisurgent's Insight, 5 mana sorcery, draw 3, proliferate. I mean, it's potentially a one-of, but you have deep analysis in Pauper. There are far more ways to do stuff, and there are far better ways to draw cards in Pauper. So no. Now we move on to the black cards. Annihilating Glare. 1 mana, destroy target creature, planeswalker, but you need to sacrifice an artifact or creature to make it cost. 1 mana. I mean, Vraska doing her thing. And Vraxa was completed. Annoyed with Affliction. Instant exile target creature if it has mana value 3 or less. Exile that creature instead if they have 3 or more poison counters. I'm gonna have a drink of water. This is actually a decent removal spell in my opinion, since a lot of the more powerful creatures in Pauper tend to cost 3 or less. Although, granted, if you want to have the corrupted mechanic on your side, you'd need to build a toxic or infect deck that gives poison counters to your opponent, and then you can exile any creature. But otherwise, there are like far better ways to have removal. I mean, it's competing with Cast Down. So there's that. Keep an eye out for this one, but otherwise, gloss over it. Blackberry Rat, 2 mana 2/2, toxic 1. If it dies, proliferate. I mean, it's really damn good. If you want to build a black-based infect deck, to go alongside with Annoyed with Affliction here, Blackberry Rat might be the way to go, but you'd need 1-drop infect creatures. And I'm not quite sure how efficient that would be at that point. But keep an eye out for this one. Bonepicker Scourge, a 3 mana 2/2. It will have Death Touch and Lifelink if your opponent has 3 or more poison counters. Again, more support for the black-based infect deck, but otherwise, it's a 3 mana 2/2 that flies. Next, we have Gruel. Why did I say it that way? Cruel Grimnarch. 6 mana 5/5. I'm not even gonna read the rest of it, since 6 mana for a 5/5 is way too much, even in Pauper. Cutthroat Centurion, a 3 mana 2/2, sacrifice another artifact or creature. It gets +2/+2, activate only once each turn. Thank God they have an activate only once each turn, but it is an unbound sacrifice outlet. Let it be known that unbound sacrifice outlets are... And it's an artifact creature on top of that. Holy fuck, why does Affinity keep getting new toys? Stop making Affinity work! It's an unbound sacrifice outlet. Yes, it gets a +2/+2. Yes. Thank God WotC knew what they were doing and made it only activate once each turn. Still, it's an unbound sacrifice outlet that you can do at instant speed. But at the very least, the activate only once each turn brings the power level down significantly. The rest, always good to see it. What more can I say? Fleshless Gladiator. Ugh. Fleshless Gladiator. That's gross to think about. It has a really decent corrupted trigger though. But no, the hoops they have to jump through to basically resurrect itself. No. Gulping Scrap Trap. A really nice name. 5 mana 4/4. When it enters the battlefield or dies, you can proliferate. Does anyone else hear that horrible crunching sound? Yes, that's the sound that this thing probably makes. But no. Infectious Inquiry. 3 mana 2/2. Draw 2. Lose 2. Each opponent gets a poison counter. Hey, I mean 3 mana to draw 2. I've seen worse, but each opponent getting a poison counter, a black-based infect deck is looking more and more respectable the more I look at these comments. Offer Immortality, this is just like literally a reskinned version of the other spell that does the exact same thing, but I think that was flavored in, if not Theros, in Dominaria United. Literally, same exact card, but just a different name. It's good in Limited, but in Pauper, probably not so much. Pestilent Siphoner, 2 mana 1/1, flying toxic 1. It dodges a lot of blockers on the ground, and you can get your few poison counters in, and if you're building to have Corrupted, this is a really good creature to keep in mind. Shouldered Head Cleaver, 3 mana 2/4, Menace toxic 2. This is good if it were 3 mana, but at 4, you are competing with Cast Down by this point. Or, any other form of removal by this point. And it's 4 mana, and by that point, the game would have been... Your opponent would be ready with removal. So, something to keep in mind because it has Menace, but otherwise, no. Stinging Hive Master, 3 mana 3/2, Toxic 1. Then, if it dies, it creates a Might with Toxic 1. No. Just no. Next, Testament Bearer. Witness me! This, if I'm sorely waiting for the nicknames episode for Loading Ready Run for this. If this does not have Witness Me, I'm not even gonna read the flavor text. I am calling her Witness Me. Like it's a Testament Bearer. Of course it's gonna be Witness Me. And then its effect is Gucci, but in Pauper, probably better ways to go about this. Vraska's Fall. Vraska got completed. She's even thinking about her ex in this moment. What the hell, Vraska? Everyone and their mother knows that Jace is the problem, not Liliana, and not you. Jace is the problem because he can't make his fucking mind up. Oh my fucking god. I mean, it's a instant speed sacrifice. So there's that. But no. There are better ways to go about it. And in the decks that do care about this kind of effect, you'd rather have it be stapled onto a creature instead. Whisper of the Draws, target creature gets -1/-1. Proliferate? No. I mean, this figure exists in this format. It's 1 mana -2/-2. You can't get any better than that. Next, we have Axiom Engraver. 2 mana 1/3. Enters the battlefield with 2 L counters. Remove 2. Basically, it's a 2 mana 1/3 that discards to draw twice. Unless you have ways to proliferate all counters, might as well skip this one. Barb Batterfist, +1/-1 for Mirrodin, so it's basically a 2 mana 3/1. Better ways to go about it. It's aggressive, but they're like far more efficient creatures in this format. Blade Graph Aspirant, 3 mana 2/3. With Menace, equipment spells cost 1 less to cast, and activated abilities of equipment. The targeted costs 1 less to activate. Equipping, I think, is an activated ability, so you could potentially get the cost down to... No, it's only really a -1. Wait, yeah. Unless like multiple copies stack on top of each other, in which case this is a really good build around. So keep an eye out for this one. Blazing Crescendo, target creature gets +3/+1 until end of turn. Exile the top card. So this is slightly better Titan Strength, since Titan Strength just scries 1. This gives you the impulse draw, so keep an eye out for this one. Feather decks are gonna love this, since it's just, you know, more card advantage. But otherwise, in Pauper, probably not. Chimney Rubble, 4 mana 3/3 with haste. If it enters the battlefield, make a 1/1 Phyrexian Goblin. So this is basically 4 mana 4/4 spread across 2 bodies. It could be worse, but otherwise, no. 4 mana is a bit much for that effect. Forge Hammer Centurion, a 3 mana 3/2. When another creature or artifact you control is put to the graveyard battlefield with an oil counter from it, when attacks, ooh, this is actually really good. But there are better ways around it, so you need to, it's a build around, but no. I mean, the card next to it helps it. It puts oil counters on it. I mean, if I'm looking at this correctly, these two arts are probably limited. Funny that the name of the artist here is Isis. I did not. Why is the name of the artist here Isis? Why? Just why? This will Free from Flesh will definitely help Forge Hammer Centurion get all counters he needs so that he can get in unmolested. But otherwise, these two cards probably no. Next, we have Furnace Strider, a 5 mana 4/5. Enters the battlefield with 2 oil counters. Target creature control gets haste. There are like better ways to go about this, so no. Hazardous Blast, sorcery, 4 mana, deal 1 damage to each creature upon controls. No. Move on to the next page. What do we have? Well, what mode do we have, Skyfall? Hex Gold Slash! This sounds like a Pokemon move. 2 damage target creature if it has Toxic. 4 damage to that creature instead. So this is anti-toxic tech here. Highly likely for the limited environment, but otherwise gloss over it. Coldholta Cackler, 3 mana 2/3. When it attacks, it gets Plastic Spasso, where X is no. You'd need to have a lot of oil counters for this to even profitably attack. Even with the trample. No. And it dies to Lightning Bolt. No. Molten Rebuke, sorcery, I'm not even gonna read. It's 5 mana, deal 5, or destroy target equipment. It is so fucking narrow, I don't like it. No. Sawblade Scamp, this is the card that got spoiled very, very early on, or rather leaked very, very early on. And I'm gonna take a drink of water because I'm not even gonna talk about. I mean, granted, you know, it has a it can help burn decks since it's a 1 mana, deal 1 damage to each opponent. But otherwise, in Pauper, probably no. Actually, no. It has haste. Huh. I'll keep an eye out for this one. Keep an eye out for this one. It puts oil counters on itself. It's a big for me. Moving on, we have Shrapnel Slinger, 2 mana 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice creature. If you do, destroy target artifact and opponent controls. Attached to an artifact creature is really, really good since you can loop this in and out of the graveyard in EDH. And then in Pauper, like, affinity is a thing, and there are a lot of artifact creatures there, so this could be a potential mirror breaker there, but there are, like, you have Smash to Smithereens in that format, so yeah. The hoops you have to jump through, but otherwise, I'd keep it in my back pocket, but otherwise, probably not. Thrill of Possibility, always good to see. Nahiri! Nahiri! What did they... I mean, she was already angry at the world, so getting completed is probably just a cherry on top. And that flavor text. Oh boy! That flavor text. Nahiri, make up your mind. Are you for or against it? Come on! Volt Charge, deal 3 to any target, proliferate. No. Volshock Splitter, another one of those 4 Mirrodin cards. It's a 4 mana 4/2 creature. No. Oh, now for our green cards. Adaptive Spore Singer, a 3 mana 2/2, and no. Branch Blight Stalker, a 2 mana 3/1 with Toxic 2. This could definitely get in for some early points of infect, but you know, it dies very, very early. Although granted, it's 2 mana, and most infect creatures can only really cap out at 2. So it's either only 1 or 2 mana, and this could slot in maybe as a 2 of, you know, just to get some early poison counters in, and this will definitely attract more removal compared to, you know, like say Glistener Elf or Blighted Agent. Next we have Carnivorous Canopy, 3 mana, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. Hey! The obligatory kill that flying creature. And it has other text to proliferate, but there's that. Contagious Vorak is a 3 mana 3/3, which is an on-curve creature that searches your land. I mean, I don't see why not. This could go, I mean, you can choose not to and just proliferate instead, but it's an on-curve creature that gets you a land out of your top 4. I don't see why not. I have been running like Geomancer's Gambit in my deck for the longest time now as a way to get card advantage. So it's competing with that, but it's a 3 mana 3/3 on curve. I am going to personally keep an eye out for this one for my Jund deck. This is interesting. Although it has no evasion to speak of, it is just a huge heckin' chonker. So there's that. But yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye out for this one. Next, Copper Longlegs, obligatory spider in the set. I mean, it's an obligatory spider. What more could you ask for? Icarspit, Basilisk, 3 mana 1/3, Death Touch, Toxic 1. This is really, really annoying to block and Pauper because of Death Touch. You'd rather let it through, and then eventually when you've built up enough of board, that's when you kill it. In Limited, this is a nightmare to deal with because you do not want to lose your creatures early on in Limited. Lattice Blade Mantis, 4 mana 4/3. When it attacks, remove early counter, untap it, it gets +1/+1. So it has Pseudo Vigilance, and it only gets it twice. No. Maze's Mantle, if it has Toxic, it gains Hexproof. There are better ways to go about this. Boggles have like far more efficient ways to go about this. And it's 3 mana and for a +2/+2. It is at flash speed, but Rancor is in the format. So no. Oil Gorger Troll, no. 5 mana, gain 3. I mean, it is a 3/4 creature. It doesn't die to Lightning Bolt at least. Otherwise, no. Plague Nurse, 4 mana 3/4, Toxic 2. Each other creature you control with Toxic gains Toxic 1. So it adds on to the amount of, to the Toxic value. Yeah, it's written here. I played it up, but it also gets here. No, definitely no. Predation Steward, a 2 mana 2/2. ETBs with 2 oil counters. Remove an oil counter, target creature gets +2/+2. It could be himself, but otherwise, no. Rostvine Cultivator, 1 mana 1/2, put an oil counter on it, remove an oil counter on it, remove target land. It's a really solid effect for what it does. But, you know, it in EDH at least, it gets by a lot of removal, but you basically have to wait 3 turns for it to do its thing. So, and in EDH at least, there are like far better ways to go about this. You have Seedborn Muse in that format. In Pauper, this is definitely way too slow. It is an elf. It is a 1 mana elf, but no. Ruthless Predation, a 2 mana fight spell. Hey, yeah, gotta have that in every green limited environment now, won't we? Skysight Engulfer, reach trample for a 6 mana 6/5. I don't see why not. Can't be blocked by creatures with flying. I don't see why you need to do it. I guess somebody was playing Pauper and hated Battle Screech so much that you just needed to have this. I mean, it has reach and trample, so it can block flyers all by itself. So there's that. Something to keep an eye out for. It's a 6 mana 6/5. It's a heckin' chonker. So there's that. Thirsting Roots. It's a 1 mana search basic land, put in the hand, or proliferate. I mean, search the land is a thing, but otherwise no. Titanic Growth is back, and horrifying art. So there's that. Tyrannax Atrocity, 5 mana 4/4, Haste, Toxic 3. This is also just a 2 of in the decks that need it. Otherwise, probably just gloss over it. I mean, it has haste, but no trample. Then we have the Skull Bomb cycle. The sad part is they're all at sorcery speed. You're probably just gonna gloss all of these over because it is at sorcery speed, unlike the original Spell Bomb cycle, which is all at instant speed. So, good to have, especially in the decks that can run it, especially in EDH. Having more spell bombs are always good, but the fact that you can only activate these bombs at sorcery speed is what really hurts it. Dune Mover enters the battlefield, search for a basic, put it on top. No, I mean, it's an artifact creature. You can loop it in and out of the graveyard, filter all of your lands out, but no, I can have anything else. Mere Custodian, a 3 mana 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2, then each opponent may scry 1. And it has Flavored X from Urtat, the legendary mirror, 5-color mirror in this fucking set. And Urtat can talk. Holy shit, Urtet can talk. But otherwise, no. It's a group hug style card, but otherwise, no. Mere Kinsmith, 4 mana, 3/1, enters the battlefield, search a library for a Mere, reveal it, put it into your hand. I mean, it helps Urtet, so there's that. Something to keep an eye out for, especially for the Urtet, for the 5-color Urtet deck that I am now building. But otherwise, no. In Pauper, definitely no. Phyrexian Atlas, 3 mana, mana rock. If you have Corrupted, each opponent loses 1 life. No. Prophetic Prism getting the Reaper, but it's banned Pauper anyway, so who fucking cares? The other Skull Bomb here, and now we move on to the lands. There's various spheres. They enter the battlefield tapped, and they tap for their respective colors. I think there's a way to search for spheres in this set, but I think it's at uncommon. Yeah, it's at uncommon or rare, but I don't remember the exact card it is. But otherwise, yeah, if you don't need it anymore, you can just cycle it for 2 mana. So yeah, and Terramorphic Expanse, always good to see it reprinted. So yeah, those are all of the Pauper cards for coming out of Phyrexia. All will be one. It's really good. It's a really damn good set for Pauper. And yeah, I am expecting some shakeups, especially on the infect side of things. We might even see like black base infects, and some of the creatures are decent, but not exactly game changing. So yeah, if you like what you saw, hit like, comment. I got tongue-tied there at the last minute. I'm gonna have this last drink of water. I'm gonna finish my water here before I go for dinner. So I'm gonna do my outro once again. So if you like what you saw, hit like, comment, subscribe, and share it among your friends. And until next time, Crawling Chorus Jump Scare! Boom!